What is going on, my peoples? It is your man, RTP, Skull Gang in the building. You already know what time it is.
Skull
I ain't gotta
Gang!
I ain't gotta say too much. We here. We here. I know you see the thumbnail. You see the name of the title. Matter of fact, I think I might have it. There we go. There you go. Let's get a top 5 reasons. You can't see it there. Top 5 reasons. Now, I didn't know exactly how to ask or not ask the question, but how to what am I trying to say? I didn't know exactly how to title this video. As you can see, I put top 5 reasons and then I really left the rest of it blank. Like I didn't know exactly what I was trying to say, exactly what I wanted to title the video. And if you can see right here in the corner, you can see right there in the corner. It's you can see better on the regular thumbnail. It's actually me right there in the bottom corner and it says it can happen. As you can see, I have Baker right here and I have the Lombardi trophy right there next to Baker. So I didn't know exactly how I wanted to title this video because I didn't exactly know what I was trying to say. But as you guys know and see, the title is Top 5 Reasons Baker Can Get a Super Bowl. Because this video is about Baker. Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield has won a playoff game, pretty much cementing the fact that he will be back next year. Pretty much cementing the fact that he'll get a contract. What kind of contract? I still don't know. But some stuff has been going on, and I've been here from the beginning. And I want to explain where I'm at, not only where I'm at, but my thought process and how I feel about this team, about Baker, about the situation that we're in. Because, as you know, if you're a smart fan, right? If you're a smart fan, as the season goes, you learn, and hopefully, just like your team, you grow and you figure out things and you have your opinions, and then you figure out more stuff, and then more evidence gets put together, and you try to, at the end of the season, again, like a smart fan, know where you stand and have your reasons. A lot of fans in the beginning of the season have their opinions about something and they can't let it go because they just don't want to be wrong. I'll give you an example. Chase Edmonds, the beginning of the season, I couldn't see Chase Edmonds taking running back number 2. Couldn't see it. I was on the Keyshawn Vaughn train the whole way. Y'all know I was. And even now, I still liked Keyshawn Vaughn. But after he did that situation that he did when they put Chase Edmonds ahead of him and he didn't come to practice or something like that, or he didn't come to practice one day, I didn't like that. Even though that happened, I still couldn't see Keyshawn Vaughn not being running back 2 because Chase Edmonds can't stay healthy. And even though he proved me right in the beginning of the season because he got hurt, couldn't stay healthy, and it had nothing to do with the run game itself because let's face it, like I told everybody, none of these running backs can run the ball. Remember, there was a time where everybody was sitting there and saying, oh, we need better running backs, man. None of these running backs, we thought Rashad was RB1. He's not. None of these guys are good running backs. And I told everybody, it's not our running backs. It's our O-line and our tight ends. We don't know how to block this scheme yet. We started being able to run the ball. And they started trading off Keyshawn Vaughn and Chase Edmonds. Sometimes Chase Edmonds B2, sometimes Keyshawn Vaughn B2. And Chase Edmonds has proven to be the perfect RB2 behind Rachaad White. And I love Chase Edmonds. He's good. Glad he's on the team now. I was wrong. In my opinion, I was wrong about it. That's just, I take it in stride. You go with it. You keep going. That's just an example, right? You live, you learn, you go on with it. Cool. Still think he's injury prone, so hopefully he stays good. But until that, he's playing really good for us. So I'm happy. But that's how you do things. The beginning of the season, me and a couple of, I would like to say a lot of us, but me and a couple of Buccaneer content creators, shout out to my boy DJ, he was one of them, felt like we're a way better team than people think. A lot of Buck fans didn't say that they didn't believe that we were a better team than people think, but through their actions, you can tell that they thought it was all Brady. The way that they would talk, the way the points that they would make made me feel like you truly believe that it was all Brady. So I was one of these Buck fans that knew our team was going to be better and not going to be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. And to be honest with you, I also didn't care if I was wrong about that, because if I was wrong and we were in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, I wouldn't have been mad at that, because right now we'd be thinking about, yeah, we got Caleb Williams. So either way, in the beginning of the season, I wasn't mad if I was right or wrong, but I believed that my team was not going to be in that sweepstakes because we're too good. We're too good. There was a couple of things that stopped me from believing in some stuff. Like, for instance, one of the things I believed was that we can win this division. I wasn't sure to the part where I can go bet that we'll win the division. But I knew we had a really good shot at winning this division. And the reason why I felt so strong that we had a good shot was because we had no threat. There was no threat in the division. I knew the Panthers would take a while to get to be a problem with Bryce Young. I didn't know that they were going to take a crap the way they did. Now, it was evident after the first 2-3 weeks of the season, it was evident that they weren't going to be nothing. The Falcons, I knew wasn't going to really be a problem because of their quarterback situation. Now, I did feel like I was a little bit wrong about their defense. Their defense played a little bit better than I thought. And the Saints, I just knew the Saints they're running in sand. They're in the same situation they were last year and the year before. Their culture is gone. Their team, their roster is not what it looks like. It looks good on paper, but it's not what it looks like on the field. It's terrible. The only chance that they had was Derek Carr helping them. And I thought that Derek Carr is a pretty decent quarterback and that he could be a chance of helping them stop us from winning the division. I thought the Saints would be the only team. I also thought that there was a big chance that the Saints or Derek Carr could have a bad season, because I could tell all through their press conferences and training camp and stuff like that, Derek Carr's head was not in the game at all. His head was not there. So I knew that. But I knew we had a good chance at winning the division. Now, the thing that slowed me down from being like, oh, I know for a fact, there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to win the division, was our questions. And I hope other people are watching this besides Buck fans, because this is the way that you should be looking at your team and your season. I knew the answers and the questions of the division rivals, and I knew the answers and the questions of my own team. And I had to be honest with myself about my own team. I had did a video called 5 Reasons Why Our Season Can Go Wrong. Every point that I said in that video, we hit this year. One of them was age, right? With being so young comes inexperience. And because we have inexperience, our depth is not as good as it could be, right? We have talent at depth. We have plenty of depth when it comes to talent, but that talent has a lot of inexperience. So one of them was age and inexperience for the depth. One of them was injuries, being healthy. I think that was number 5 was injuries, right? We couldn't do injuries. That's every team. Then it was the age and experience and depth. Then after that, it was our coaching. Offensive coordinator Dave Canellis. I talked about how we have no idea how he's going to be a coach. We have no idea if he's going to know how to game plan. We have no idea if he's going to know how to, adjust during games, if he's going to have a feel for the game while the game is going. We don't know if he understands our weapons or knows how to use our weapons. And we went through all of that during the season. We had games that we lost because Dave Canellis just didn't have a feel for the game. We've had games that we lost because there was a bad game plan by Dave Canellis. We had, all that. Everything that I talked about, we went through it. We went through the ups and downs of it. The other part was the quarterback chemistry with Dave Canellis. Is Dave Canellis going to know how to save Baker? Is he going to put too much on Baker's plate? Is he going to handcuff Baker and not give Baker enough? Is he going to know when to protect Baker? Is he going to be too aggressive? Is he not going to be aggressive enough? We saw all of that too. And the chemistry with Baker. That was number 2. And the number 1 reason why our season could go bad was Baker, our quarterback. Not that, because we have Baker, that's why our season can go bad, but the performance of Baker. It depends on what we get from Baker. So we went through all of that, and because of all of those question marks that we did not answer yet, I did not know if for sure we were going to be able to win this division. I just knew we're the favorites because nobody else is threatening. And we should be the favorites. Now, as the season went on, we started learning things. We started having question marks. I did a live stream about Dave Canellis where I got really scared, especially after he had an interview and said, you're going to learn that I'm going to be very, what did he say? Not ignorant, very stubborn with the run game. Oh, that was a red flag for me. I got very scared. I realized that Dave Canellis didn't know how to use Mike Evans yet. He didn't understand how defenses were guarding Mike Evans and our weapons yet. All that stuff, we went through all that stuff. And then, Dave started getting it together. And then towards the very end of the middle towards / end of the season, the run game started clicking. We started getting these answers. And as we started getting all these answers, I started saying, yeah, as far as my roster, I knew what we have. Defense, I knew what we have. Offense, I knew what we have. Now, offensive coordinator, I know what we got. As far as Baker, it has been a roller coaster with Baker. So let's start going to where we are at now. We have won the wild card playoff game, and now we are in the divisional round. And I wonder if we can do something here, because there comes a point where there's no going back. We talk about a lot of fans who want to talk about, we should have tanked, we should have tanked. Forget that. I don't want to tank. Keep this winning culture. We're about winning. I want to win the division, and I want to keep this winning culture intact. Let's keep winning. Win the division, and then I don't care after that. We win the division, and then we win the wild card. And now we're sitting here like, I mean, we're already, if Super Bowl was our goal this year, which I've said many times, it really wasn't. The goal was try to win the division, but the real goal was get rid of these contracts and clean the slate so we could start putting out better contracts and building our team again. But if the goal was to, and I'm more than sure in the building they're saying this, the goal was to always go to the Super Bowl. We're kind of more than almost, we're pretty much halfway there already. So why not us? Well, there's only one reason, and it's Baker. And today we're going to talk about the 5 reasons why Baker can get a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So let's get it. First reason we're going to talk about is this. This is the first reason why. Some of you guys know what I'm about to say. Some of you guys don't. This is a Super Bowl, 58 poster. Will one of these QBs win their first Super Bowl? That's what it says. So the number 5 reason why Baker can get a Super Bowl with us is going to be conspiracy. We're going to start there. Conspiracy. Well, what's the conspiracy? Some of you guys already know from my other live streams, but for anybody who's seeing this for the first time, let's get into it real quick. This is the conspiracy. These are the last 2 Super Bowls. As you can see, the color of the Super Bowl logo coincidentally has the colors of the teams that are playing in the Super Bowl. Yellow for the Rams, orange for the Bengals, red for the Chiefs, green for Philly. All right. Here's this year's Super Bowl. Red for Niners, purple for the Ravens. But wait a minute. There is somebody still in the playoffs from the NFC side that also has red. And that is also the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here's the second part of this conspiracy. As you see in this poster, everybody is off to the side. Everybody is off to the side except for 2 people, Lamar and Baker Mayfield. And Baker's directly dead as you can be to the middle of this poster as can be. Even Lamar, his head is tilted a little to the side, but them 2 are the only ones that are in the middle. Also, If you look at the Super Bowl logo, you have the red on top, purple on bottom. Lamar with the purple on the bottom, Baker with the red on top. Does that mean something? I don't know. This is just conspiracy. That's all we're talking about right now. And last but not least, if you remember in the 100th anniversary of the NFL, there was a commercial. This was the commercial. The commercial was about a football that fell down from a cake because Marshawn Lynch tried to take a piece of the cake and the football fell. Singletary says, football or fumble. And everybody starts running after the football, and then they start playing football. And it's a whole bunch of Hall of Famers, a whole bunch of OGs, a whole bunch of people playing football, all the elites playing football in there. And in that commercial, Baker man. Next to Brady. Baker is sitting next to Brady and tells him this. Man. Get out there, old man. And Brady says, hold these, and gives him his rings. Now he's holding the Super Bowl rings. And this smile right here, I'm not going to lie. I watched this like, oh, I can't even see it. But at the end, I watched this commercial like 5 times last night, getting ready for this setup. And Bake has this smile that gave me goosebumps. And that's when I told myself, like, a lot of people really think I don't like Baker. And I don't have a problem with Baker at all. I honestly, everything that has to do with Baker, I would love for Baker to be my quarterback. The whole thing about Baker, I would love if I could say that's my quarterback. I would love it. I would love it. And when I saw him hold the rings and give that smile that you can't see because they cut it short, it gave me goosebumps. And I was like, man, if this is foreshadowing, what if this is foreshadowing? What if they're showing us Baker's that guy next? And you might think, okay, you're going too far. There's not going to be another Brady. Okay. But what if he's the next Drew Brees? What if he's going to do for us, hopefully more Super Bowls than that, what Brees did for the Saints, which is at minimum 1 Super Bowl and then pretty much just will be the guys in this division for years until he goes? What if that's the foreshadowing? Now, again, I'm hoping it's the Brady foreshadowing. I hope we win more than 1 ring, right? I hope we at least get like, if he ends up being our, long-term, like three rings or something like that would be nice. Can't be mad at that. But what if, I mean, think about it. Chargers let go of Drew Brees. They got Phillip Rivers. They let go of Baker. They got Deshaun Watson. You go somewhere else, balls out. So maybe it's foreshadowing. I don't know. But I said this. This goes into my reason number 4 of why Baker can do this. And it's exactly what I was saying right now. The storyline that we would have with Baker from the Browns going to the Panthers, going to the Rams, and settling here in Tampa would be chills. It just chills. But I'm not the fan that is going to clamor for Baker just because the storyline is good. Storyline got to be second. The first reason why we got to keep Baker has to be because he can be the guy. Not because we think he can be the guy or because we want him to be the guy, but because we've seen him be the guy. And not just seen him be the guy, but see him be the guy consistently where we know, yes, for the most part, he is the guy. Yes, every quarterback has bad days. But when you go into a game and you have to sit there and wonder, are we going to get the good Baker or the bad Baker? That's not enough. No, that's too inconsistent. Saying, are we going to get the good Baker or are we going to get the bad Baker? Or in other people's cases, well, we're playing against a bad team, so we should get the good Baker. But then, oh, we're playing against a playoff contending type of team. I don't know what kind of Baker we're going to get here. Or we're playing against a playoff a defense that's a playoff type of defense. I don't know if we'll get the good Baker here. We got to see. That's not consistent enough. We have to get the good Baker most of the time. And if every once in a while, oh, that we had a bad Baker, that's fine. But most of the time, we have to have a good Baker. It can't be, well, we wonder what we're getting today. That's not, no. I don't care of when we do get a good Baker, if it's the greatest quarterback of all time, I don't care. If it's not consistent, it don't mean nothing. It doesn't. So 5 is conspiracy. 4 is the storyline, which it kind of goes with the conspiracy, but the conspiracy is a little bit harder to believe in, right? Conspiracy is a couple of things that just coincidental, and it's kind of hard to believe that in the very beginning of the NFL season, when no games have been played, they already picked who's going to the Super Bowl. Kind of kills the sport, kind of hard to believe. I get it. Conspiracy, Storyline is almost the same thing, but it's not as crazy to believe. What do I mean by that? Well, storyline gives the Rams a bad defensive pass interference and give the Rams a chance to score again and win the Super Bowl. That's what a storyline does. We've seen plenty of times where we said it feels like the refs nudged the game a little bit because they want to keep that storyline, whatever it is. I'm pretty sure you guys can think of other storylines. So storylines does kind of fall into conspiracy a little bit, but it's a lot more believable because we've seen games where it felt like, the refs helped them out because of this, because of that. They want to keep that storyline, or they want to make this storyline, or this person versus this person is a great storyline. So they want to have that matchup. Baker and the Buccaneers beating everybody that they lost to on a complete revenge tour, including in the Super Bowl, would be a great storyline. And something I believe could possibly happen. So that's not too far from what I believe. That's not too far from being believable. So you got conspiracy 5, storyline 4. Let's go to the number 3 reason why Baker can get a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 3 is this. Coaching staff. Coaching staff. When I say coaching staff, I'm talking about Todd Bowles, Dave Canellis, all that. But there's a reason why you only see Todd Bowles. Because even the great job that Dave Canellis is doing with our weapons, doing with Baker and helping him get better and helping him feel comfortable, it all falls on Todd Bowles. Just like y'all want to fire Todd Bowles because of the offense not being good, it all falls on Todd Bowles. When we win and when we look good, guess what? It all falls on Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles is the reason why we are in the position we are in. He is the reason why the defense looks like it looks. He is the reason why the offense looks like it looks. And how is that possible? Because when Todd's butt was getting hot from the seat, he had the patience to not rush offensive coordinator Dave Canellis into letting go of the run game or simplifying the run game and bailing on Dave Canellis's process. He had the patience not to bail. He had the patience to let Dave be Dave. He had the patience to let Dave do what he feels is best to get this offense to be ready, not for the season. Not for the season. Another part that Buccaneer fans struggle to understand. Todd Bowles allowed Dave Canellis to get this offense ready, not for the season, but for the playoffs. Everything that we did, all the games that we struggle, all the times where you say, it's so simple, Todd Bowles, make the change. It's so simple, Todd Bowles. Stop doing this and do that. Yes, that's great for a quick fix. That's great for a fix for the next game, but that doesn't fix the root of the problem that we're going to need to take care of in order for us to be successful in the playoffs. Fans don't understand that part of coaching. A lot of coaches in the NFL don't understand that part of coaching. You saw it when remember when we had Mike Smith as the defensive coordinator? And we had like 3 really good games defensively. It was like, man, we haven't seen defense like this since the 2002 Buccaneers. And he said all he did was really, really, really simplify everything. We had 3 games of like lights out defenses. It was either 3 or 2. I think it was like 3 games of lights out defenses, performances. And then it just came crashing down. When you simplify and make it easy for your team to execute, you make it easy for the NFL to expose it. Eventually, it's going to get exposed. So Todd Bowles allowed Dave to do what he does, allowed Dave to be Dave. And in return, Dave allowed Baker to be Baker. And so did Bowles. And Baker is in a great situation. Great situation. And the reason why Baker is in a great situation is because of this man right here, Todd Bowles. I said what I said about what Todd Bowles did for Dave Canellis and did for this offense. And not only that, but this right here. And this is number 2. Number 2 reason. Number 2 reason. The roster. Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster. Now, I said what I said in the beginning for a reason, because I talked about how we didn't have depth. We had talent, a lot of talent. We had our starters that had experience and talent, and then behind them, we just had talent. No experience, just talent. So even though technically I can say we have depth, it really wouldn't show because the inexperience would make it seem like we don't have depth. Todd Bowles has not only made this roster, but being patient with Dave Canellis allowed Dave Canellis to groom this offense, allowed Dave Canellis to find us a run game and grow the run game. And it also allowed the patience of Todd Bowles also allowed youngsters to grow up, which gave us depth, We now officially feel like we have a little bit of depth now, right? Zion McCollum grew up. KJ Britt came out of nowhere, right? You got uh Luke Gedeke. You got Cody Mayock, right? And you think Luke Gedeke, well, what are you talking about, Luke Gedeke? Luke Gedeke was crap last year. Crap last year. Didn't move him. This goes back to what I say when, oh my God, he sucks. Make a change. It's so easy. Make a change. It is easy to make a change. But I've explained this before. You know what happens when you don't make a change just because someone did something bad? When you don't pull Keanu Neal because he's messing up in coverage or busting coverages and you don't just bench him? When Luke Gedeke's at guard and he's playing like hot garbage and you just keep giving him faith and you keep giving him faith and you keep giving him faith? You know what that does? It allows these young players to have faith in themselves. It allows these young players to do what coaches tell people to do all the time, which is if you make a mistake, but do it playing fast. People are scared to do that when they feel like they're going to get pulled or they're going to get benched if they make a mistake. I want to play fast, but I'm scared to make a mistake because I'll get benched. But when you have a coach that's patient, that understands grooming, that understands building and understands developing and understands that it's not easy in the NFL and other people take different time frames to get to that NFL level, you get these youngsters that they come at their own pace and they learn at their own pace and they figure it out. Then when they figure it out, you get Yaya Diaby. You notice how I said Yaya Diaby. Why did I say Yaya Diaby? Because Yaya Diaby had to figure it out. Think about it. You got Izian, undrafted rookie, started right away. You got Kalijah Kancey, who didn't start because he was hurt, but as soon as he can play, he was a starter right away. Yaya Diaby wasn't a starter right away. Had to figure it out. Had to learn how to pass rush. Had to learn how to not pass rush, but pass rush in this system. How to rush, how to stop the run. How to learn how we do things here. How to learn how to be a professional. How to learn all these different things. Learned in his own pace. These people that have grown it's all because of Todd Bowles. And just a side note, there's some people that I'm waiting for to see if Todd Bowles can develop. We might not be seeing, and I like being the first. I like being the first Buck fan to say things that is like, remember when I said it way back then and no one was thinking about it or talking about it? So there's some players, I'm looking at this right now, and there's some players that I'm thinking about. One, Mike Green. If we can develop Mike Green, he's a defensive tackle. He's kind of like a Kalijah Kancey. If we can develop that, ooh, that's some nasty depth. Right after Kalijah Kancey, we put in Mike Green. That's nasty depth right there. If we can develop him. SirVocea Dennis, I think everyone already feels like we're developing him and he's getting ready to just take off whenever he gets his chance. Another one, Marquise Watts. If we can develop Marquise Watts, he might be a guy for us. I know a lot of you guys know who that is. He was balling out in the preseason. Another guy that I don't think we think about, our rookie Payne Durham, that tight end. Developing that tight end. That man has already Randy Mossed a few people. Okay? People don't understand. Besides quarterback, the two hardest positions to translate from college to NFL is the nickel position and the tight end. It's the hardest position to come in and play right away, which is why Cade Otton was so huge for us last year, because he did that as a rookie. That's not easy. But if we can develop Payne Durham, he might be that offensive problem that we thinking we need to go find. So those are just some names that we're not really thinking about, but could be a problem once they get developed. So number 2 is the roster that has been developed by Todd Bowles. I've said it in many of the NFC South roundtables, and they laughed at me. Oh, and I got a video about that. It's a long video about my receipts. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I'll give you a snippet of the thumbnail just so you understand, just so you can understand what that video is going to look like, or what that video is going to be about. Let me just, where is it? Where are you? See if I can find it. Should be. Hold on one second. It should be right here. I always can't see it. It's always like right in front of my face. Let me see. Maybe I put it in here. Probably did. Give me 1 second. Let me just show you, just so you guys get a little. Oh yeah, it wasn't. I tell you, it's always in front of my face. Just so you get a snippet. I still got this video to put out. Oh yeah. I still got this video to put out, baby. See that long list of receipts? Oh, I got about 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer than 20 minutes of video of these guys and the rest of everybody in there laughing at me and all my takes and everything that I was saying, laughing at me like I had no idea what I was talking about, just so I could end up being right like I said I was at the end of the year. But that's a whole nother live stream. That's a whole nother video. But in those NFC roundtables, I tell them, I believe we still have a championship roster. And I don't understand why it's hard for people to understand this. We have a championship roster. When Tom Brady was here, all he did was play his part. He was a quarterback. He was a good quarterback. He did his job. He didn't do anybody else's job. Plain and simple. The biggest piece that we got wasn't even Brady. The biggest piece we got was Gronkowski. Because not only did Gronkowski help Tom Brady gel with the rest of the team, not only was Gronkowski Brady's blanket to where he can default to Gronk no matter what. If he didn't like whatever offensive weapons we were doing or what we were doing offensively, he can always go to Gronkowski, and he felt comfortable with Gronkowski. But he also was a huge reason why our O-line got better at blocking, why we had some type of a run game. Gronk was a huge piece of that championship. But besides that, Brady just did his job, and his job was easy because we had Chris Godwin and we had Mike Evans. Yeah, we had AB, but AB didn't really even do nothing for us. He just came in and was like, okay, we didn't lose a step with AB, but AB didn't do nothing for us, really. Scotty Miller was bigger for us than AB was. Think about that. Run game was good enough, and we had a defense. And the defense didn't even have the Antoine Winfield we have now. The defense didn't have Kalijah Cansey next to Vita Vea, you know? Yeah, they had a better outside linebackers at the time with JPP and Shaq Barrett in his prime, but you get what I'm saying. The main pieces are here, and our secondary is way better. Our secondary right now is way better than the secondary when we were playing in the in the Super Bowl. Our secondary was still wet behind the ears in the Super Bowl year. So we have a championship caliber type of roster. Like we got the championship blood still, DNA. Like we still got these pieces around. So, number 5, conspiracy. Number 4, it would be a great storyline. Number 3, the coaching staff around Baker Mayfield knows what they're doing and still might be one of the better coaching staffs in the NFL right now, or at least in the playoffs, especially in the NFC playoffs. Then you got the roster that Baker has to go with. Now, I keep seeing, these lists of all these quarterbacks are in the playoffs, list the best to the worst quarterbacks. And let's be honest, it's not like I'm put Baker up on the top. If you talk about the quarterbacks that are right now for the NFC, simple. I would put Jared Goff top, is the top quarterback right now, and that's in the NFC playoffs. Then it would be Brock Purdy. Then it would be Baker or Love. It's hard for me. I think Baker, when he is on, he's on. The problem is he's too inconsistent. And Love, I think, is more consistent. And I think the difference is this roster. And I've said it many times, and I have no problem saying it. What Baker is doing is good, but it's because this roster is stacked. That Super Bowl team didn't have a Rachaad White. Baker has a Rachaad White with these guys. So Baker might not be the best quarterback in this division. I mean, in this conference right now. But he's stacked. He definitely has a better roster around him than Love. And I'm talking about offense and defense. He has a better roster around him than Jared Goff. The only one that he might not have a better roster in is the 49ers. And I can make an argument for that too. So, number 2 reason that Baker can get to a Super Bowl is the roster. Now, let's get to the number 1 reason why Baker can get to the Super Bowl. And before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up the line in case anybody wants to come in here and say their opinions or whatever. I'm going to put everything in the comment sections. If you're watching this on Twitter or whatever you're watching this, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. And let me post this real quick. And I see the comments, and we're going to get to the comments and anybody else that wants to jump in. But you guys can jump in after I finish the number 1 reason. Let me, hold on, almost there. That's that. Okay. So I want to read this comment real quick because it kind of has to do with what we're talking about. Shout out to Bucks Rays in the building. Justin Watson in the building. from Facebook says we need to chill. We're playing the Lions in the second round. I see some crazy things. Now, I 1,000% get with what you're saying. But this has to do with the Lions. This has to do with all of it. And this is why I decided to do this video today and not after, because this isn't I know it, the way the title is, the way everything is set up, and I did it on purpose. The way everything is set up is looking like I'm saying, man, we're so good we could go to the Super Bowl. But I'm not skipping over the Lions. But this all has to do with the number one reason why Baker can get a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is it. This is it. This is the number one reason why it can happen. And it's a little bit of a letdown, but this is the reason. This is the reason why we go home, or this is the reason why we go to the Super Bowl. It's plain and simple. This is the reason why we go home, or this is the reason why we can go to the Super Bowl. This goes back to everything that we've been talking about today, about how I would love for Baker to be my guy, be my quarterback. I actually would. I've had days where I said, he played whatever. The team won this game. Baker is a part of the team. So when I say the team, I'm including Baker. Team won this game. It is what it is. Baker doesn't need no extra credit. He's part of the team. And then there's days where I said the defense, if it wasn't for the defense, And then there's been days where I said, hey, team won this game, but Baker played good. Like the Saints game. Shoot, like last week, the team played good. Baker did his thing, though. Baker was doing his thing. This game right here, the Green Bay Packers game, or as I like to call Lombardi Baker. There's a reason why I said Lombardi Baker. That game that he had, and I don't know if you guys have watched, I think it's the latest In the Current, that like fake Hard Knocks show we have. In the Current. The In the Current episode with this game in there. You see a couple of the players say the same thing, like, I was just looking at Baker like, you can't tell during the game, but when they were watching film, they were like, dang, Baker. Dang, Baker. There's a reason why his teammates were saying that. There was Tristan Wirfs said it. There was a few people that said it, that it was like, yeah, we knew we had a good game, but the next day when we came in and we started watching film and started evaluating how good or how bad of a game we had, there was a few players that was on camera that said, dang, Baker, like, I don't know, Baker was kind of on it. Like, I didn't know he was playing like that. Like, he was on it. It was the same thing that I said. Remember when I started watching film with you guys? I was watching film and I was like, I knew he had a good game, but I'm not going to lie. Baker was on it. Some of the throws he was making, some of the decisions, his progression, it was like, listen, if you telling me that's my quarterback, let's go. Let's go. Give him a contract right now. We've had plenty of games where Baker's good. We've had a couple of, more than I would like, games where Baker's bad, where it's like we don't have an offense. Third string quarterback, come in, help us get a spark or something, because nothing's happening. Baker is bad right now. We've had all of it. We've had the roller coaster. Yeah, last week, or the last playoff game we just did against the Eagles, Baker did good. Baker had, you know, I would say the level of the Saints game, right? We've had bad Baker. We've had he's just doing his job, Baker. Then we've had the Saints game, Baker, which is like, oh, he was doing it, he was on it. And then we have the Lombardi Baker, which is, yo, we'll win a Super Bowl. We can win a Super Bowl like that. This roster, quarterback play like that, we can win a Super Bowl. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. So we've had all those. Those are 4 different levels of Baker that we've had this season. Last game we had against the Eagles in the playoffs was the second to the top level, which in the beginning I thought was the top level of Baker. We found out it wasn't, but the Saints level of Baker. And might be, and I get mad when I say this, because after Baker went back to being bad, because we had the Saints game, and after we had the Saints game, I came on here and I said, you know what? Maybe Baker is our guy. Because that Saints game, I was like happy with that. And I said, maybe Baker is our guy. And then I felt stupid, because then bad. And I was like, I felt stupid. I fell for it. That was the fan in me. I fell for it. And then, Baker would have these games where it looked like he did good, but I know it's like he's not that he's doing good. It's just the team is good and he's just doing his job. It's not the same thing. And then he had games where he was like, okay, then he had the Lombardi Baker. And when he had the Lombardi Baker, I said, this has to be something. You don't just come out and look like this out of nowhere for no reason. Like, maybe a light bulb turned on. Maybe something clicked. There's got to be. And it gave me hope. And I came on here and I told you guys, I said, I'm not going to lie. This is the last time. This is the last time I'm going to have hope for this guy. Because the performance he just showed me was great. And he doesn't have to have this type of performance again for me to believe in Baker, because I knew it probably wasn't going to happen for him to have this Lombardi level of performance that he just had. That happening again and again and again, that wasn't going to happen. But I felt like, okay, well, maybe now, instead of having New Orleans Baker and bad Baker, now that the light or something clicked, we'll have Lombardi Baker. And then when he's bad, it'll just be, New Orleans Saints Baker, which is not bad at all. Maybe those are where we're going to start hitting now. Maybe it went up a level to where that's where his performance is going to vary from Lombardi to New Orleans Baker. So I had some hope. And I said, this is the last time I'm going to have hope. And again, people think I hate on Baker, but I would love nothing more but to crown him and say, this is our guy. So I'm trying to just like I feel like it's my duty to find the negatives and find the bad and find things that I got to say, hold on, guys, pump your brakes. Look at this. This doesn't mean that. I know we want it to be all rainbows and flowers and stuff, but this tells me that we got to pump our brakes. It is my job. I wouldn't even say it's my job. I would just say it's my nature as a fan of this team to grab onto anything that shows me, hey, we might be able to be excited about this. So I took that Lombardi Baker and I saw that tape and I said, this is the last time I'm going to give hope. And then we had the Jags game, I believe it was, after. And I said, it wasn't Lombardi Baker and it wasn't even New Orleans Baker. It was back to that third level, which is he's not doing bad, but he's not doing nothing. He's just, it's the team. He's kind of cheating the system. It's the team. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad Baker. It wasn't like, when he played against the Panthers and the man can't even do nothing. It wasn't that Baker. It was the next level up, which is he's not hurting the team, but he's not helping either. Like it's the team. So right away I said, okay, we're probably not going to We didn't get the New Orleans Saints Baker until, we got the bad Baker after that. I think was the Saints game. We got the bad Baker. And then we played the the Panthers. And it was like, again, it was like the bad Baker. We still won the game, but it was and then we go into the playoffs. And then we have the New Orleans Saints Baker, which doesn't do nothing for me. It doesn't do nothing for me. It doesn't make me believe we can do anything or believe that Baker is anything. I'm not fooled by that. But once again, the fan in me wants this to be it, would love for it to be it. And there's one thing about the game that gave me a little bit of hope that maybe, just maybe, and it's a small thing, but because it's playoffs, because we already won one playoff game, I'm going to go full throttle. I'm going to go all out. I'm going to root for the team. Obviously, I root every week. Even when I don't want to root for the team, I still root for the team. I can't help it. And we're in the playoffs. And not only are we in the playoffs, we're in the thick of things right now. I'm going to grab onto anything I can grab on. I'm going to put my cheerleading pom-poms in my hands and, let's get it. Let's get it. Which is why I wanted to put this video out there. And the thing that I saw in that Eagles game, no matter what you want to say about anything else about the Eagles game, when we're talking about Baker's performance, even though it was the New Orleans Saints performance, which is good, that's a good Baker. We can do that. We could run the division for years with that Baker. That's good enough. That's not what I want to hold on to, because that doesn't mean nothing to me anymore. I've seen that Baker a couple times now, and then we just go back to Baker looks like he's trash. But the one thing that's new about this Baker is that he won that game without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. He won that game throwing it to Kate. He won that game with Cade Otton being his number one guy. Number one guy, a little bit of David Moore, a little bit of Trey Palmer, a little bit more of Rachaad White, whether you're talking about the pass game or the run game. Rachaad White did his thing too for us. And that is not impressive, but it could be how do I say this? It could be what's the word I'm looking for? Him making Cade Otton his number one, and also those other guys, and then using Rachaad White without using Mike Evans and Chris Godwin as his main targets, could be the difference. It could be the missing link. The missing link to consistency. That's the best way I can say it. I'm so glad. It could be the missing link to consistency. And I hope I've used every word that I want to use. I used it precisely, hoping Baker sees this somehow, hoping Dave Canales. I tell you guys all the time, I make videos hoping that my players see my videos. A lot of people make content and they trash players, and I'm like, bro, you would not say that if they were in front of you. If they was like, oh yeah, you could interview me, you would be right there. You're so great getting an interview. Me, I'm not like that. Baker plays bad, plays like trash, and I'm in one Bucks place and Baker comes by me and asks me how I think he played. I'm gonna tell him, you play like trash, bro. Straight up. No problem. I talk on there like if these players were and I've said this before, my son, nephews, cousins, like if they were family members, because they're human. They're human. And that's how I talk about these players. When they need a nice little spank in the butt, I'm going to spank them. They chill out. If they don't deserve any, I'm not going to put anything on them. And I think I said that perfectly. Making Kadon his number one, spreading it around to David Moore and Trey Palmer, and his number two kind of being like, the number two weapon being Rashad because of the pass game and the run game. That's not impressive, but that's the missing piece. That's the link to having a consistent Baker. Because when you have trash Baker, it's trash Baker. Nothing works. When you have he's not trash, but he didn't do anything great. He just was a part of the team. Any quarterback can do that. When you have New Orleans Baker, that's great. You can do that with Mike Evans, just Mike Evans. You can do that with just Chris Godwin. When you have Lombardi Baker, that means you balling out. You got Mike Evans going, you got Chris Godwin going, you got Cade Otton going, you got O'Keefe getting a touchdown. That's Lombardi Baker. That's not easy to do. That's like elite. That's elite stuff. I don't even need to put that type of pressure on Baker. We don't even need that pressure on Baker. We don't even, like, if you could bring that Baker out, bring him out. But we're not even hoping for it. We don't even, like, if we give you a contract and you're not that Baker 24/7, we not mad at you. But the consistency of being that Lombardi Baker and being that New Orleans Baker, we don't have it there. But if you put in that Baker that used Cade Otton, that Baker that used Trey Palmer and David Moore and Rachaad White, if you put that Baker that said, okay, they're taking away Mike and Chris, I'm going to eat you alive with these guys, that's the link that can connect the two, that literally connects the two. Think about that. Think about that. Because if you got New Orleans Baker, who's only using Mike Evans and every once in a while Chris Godwin, or using Chris Godwin and every once in a while Mike Evans because they locked down Mike Evans, that's a problem. But if you put that with also, okay, you're going to take them away. Okay, I'll use Mike Evans or I'll use Chris Godwin, whichever one you didn't take away, and I'll use Cade Otton and everybody else, and I'll eat with them. Or if you take away Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, like supposedly they did in the Eagles game, I'll just kill you with Cade Otton and everybody else. If we can connect that and Baker can keep that mindset the rest of the way, that is the number one reason. That mixed in with the roster that he has around him, mixed in with the coaching staff, mixed in with a good storyline, forget the conspiracy part, those 4 reasons, we can go to the Super Bowl. Because our team is better than the Lions. I promise you, our team is better than the Lions. Our coaching is better than the Lions. I promise you. If we can get New Orleans Baker or New Orleans Baker with the game that we just had with the Eagles, which is kill you with Cade Otton and everybody else, when you leave them one-on-one, all right, I'm going to eat with them. You're not stopping us. We're going to the NFC Championship. We can beat the Lions. We can beat the Lions. And that's my number one reason. And again, I know this was made to look like, we won one game, so we're going to the Super Bowl. It's kind of a troll job. I wanted it to come off like that in the beginning because that's going to make people, this idiot, this dumb Buck fan won one playoff game and he thinks he's going to the Super Bowl. And I want them to click on my video. So yeah, I kind of made it seem like that. But really what this video is about is what we need from Baker, and the fact of what we saw in the Eagles game gave me a small hope of maybe this time it finally clicked with Baker. Maybe this time he gets it now. Maybe this time when he goes back on the bench and he looks at his tablet and saying, yeah, it's going to be one of those games. They're doubling Mike, and it looks like they're taking turns doubling Mike and doubling Chris. You know what? It's going to be one of those games. That's fine. I got Rashad. I got Cade Otton. I got Peyton Durham. I got Trey Palmer. I got David Moore. That's fine. I got plenty of other weapons now. And if that is what happened in the Eagles game, if that's what's clicked in Baker's mind, where he understands now, I have a team. It's not Mike. It's not Chris. It's all of us. And if you want to sit there and be a dummy and put all your assets onto Chris or all your assets defensively onto Mike, I'm going to eat you alive because these guys are ballers too. Trey Palmer, let that ball go in Trey Palmer's hand and let him hit his gear. Oh, you're not catching him. David Moore knows this offense better than anybody else in this offense. He knows how to squat in them zones better than anybody else in this offense. Chris Godwin got the best hands. Deadly with the ball in his hands too. Rachaad White, just give him the ball. Just give him the ball. Whether it's handing it off or dumping it off, just give him the ball. He'll gonna get him some yards. Maybe break some ankles in the process. This team's stacked. This team is stacked and it's loaded. And if Baker can understand that and say, it don't have to always be about Mike. It don't have to always be about Chris. We got other people that all we're trying to do is get first downs and get touchdowns. First downs and touchdowns. First downs and touchdowns, baby. All that other stuff. And here's another thing that I thought of, and I'm glad I just remembered it. Here's another thing that I thought of. They gave me a little glimpse of. That's some glimpse of hope that I can catch, and I'm going to bring it to you guys of why this New Orleans / Lombardi Baker might sustain during the playoffs, right? Because what has been one of my biggest problems with Baker, one of the biggest reasons why I feel like he's so inconsistent, is because when he's on, when he has a good game, it's always the same thing. Baker hits his back foot, lets it go, no hesitation. Back foot, lets it go, no hesitation. Back, even when he's almost close to throwing, he almost threw 3 interceptions in the Green Bay game. He almost threw 2 interceptions in the Eagles game. I don't care. Let it go. Hit your back foot, make a decision, trust it, let it go. I don't care if you get picked off. Let it go. When he believes in the route, when he believes in the player, when he believes in the offense, when he believes in himself, when he believes in his arm, and he just lets it go, good things happen. We get a quarterback. We get a real quarterback. We get a real quarterback. That's been my biggest problem with Baker. It's stop being scared. Believe in yourself. Believe in the play. Believe in the players, not just Mike. Not just Chris sometimes. Believe in everybody. Just let it go. Don't hesitate. Just let it go. And I said that it seems like we have a scared quarterback. A quarterback that's scared to lose his job or something. Can't play like that. I don't have a quarterback. If I have a quarterback like that, then I don't have a quarterback. But maybe, again, not saying this is what it is. I'm just giving you guys some glimpse of hopes. It's playoffs. We're in the thick of it. I'm trying to find anything I can. Just maybe. Now he feels like I won a playoff game, or I won the division. I won myself a contract. I don't got to worry about not having a contract, or I don't got to worry about my stats looking bad. You know why? Because stats only matter in the regular season. I don't know if you guys know that. Stats only matter in the regular season. In the playoffs, stats don't matter. Nobody sits there and says, oh, he had these many interceptions. That's including the playoffs. No. When they say, oh, he had this many touchdowns and this many interceptions, they're talking about regular season stats. They're not talking about regular season and playoff stats. So because of that, maybe now Baker doesn't have to care about it. Maybe Baker can throw interceptions and not care about, hey, they ain't going to really count. And not that I want him to throw interceptions, but maybe that allows him now to say, you know what? F it. I already got I know my contract's going to be done. He don't have one yet, but more than likely my contract's going to be done. I'm going to be the starting quarterback next year. We already won one playoff game. We're playing with house money. Go out there and ball out. Go be that Baker. Go be Baker that you thought you was when you were coming in the first round. And you thought you was all that. You came into the NFL with your chest out. Be that Baker. We got your back. Mike Evans got your back. Chris got your back. Trust me. This defense got your back. Be that Baker. Go with your chest out. Go with the chip on your shoulder. Be that guy that you wanted to be, but you couldn't be before because you had the whole weight of Cleveland on your shoulders. You don't got that now, bro. Be that dude. We all got chips. They all got chips on their shoulders. Whole offense got a chip on their shoulders because they said it wasn't them. It was Brady. Whole defense got a chip on their shoulders because they said it wasn't them. It was Brady. Go out there with the chip on your shoulder and use your team because the team's using you. Just be you. Go do it. Go throw that ball, bro. Don't be scared. No one's going to sit down. Listen, if you haven't learned yet, and I'm talking to you, Baker, if you haven't figured it out, if you haven't learned yet, when you sit on that bench, if you haven't learned yet all year, when you've had these crappy games and Mike Evans is like, gosh, dang it. And you throwing the ball and you realize, I missed him. I missed him again. Man, I'm terrible today. Because I know you know. I know you see it on tape. I know they see it on tape. If you haven't learned yet that when you go and sit on that bench, how the defense reacts, how the players have reacted, if you haven't learned yet that they're championship DNA and that they're going to fight till the end and that they're ready to be clutch at any moment and that they got your back, I don't know when you're going to learn. Hopefully you've learned that already and can say, you know what? They got my back. Let me play championship ball and not be scared to try to play championship ball. You got Josh Allen over there in Buffalo killing the Dolphins, also killing the Bills, throwing interceptions when they're in the red zone, throwing interceptions when they're in field goal range, fumbling the ball, 2 interceptions and a fumble. He was killing the Dolphins. He was also killing the Bills. Special teams went and scored, tied the ball game up. Josh Allen went and scored the game-winning score because he was being himself. He was the man. He went and made it happen. Now, there's times to be the game manager and there's times to be the man. But in the playoffs, I want you to be the man most of the time. Game manager a little bit. Any small ink of, I think I need to be the man, go be the man. Go be the man. And let this team have your back. Because this team's ready for the moment. You came in the NFL like you was ready for the moment. You had a lot of baggage. You don't have none of that baggage no more. You had a lot of pressure. You don't have none of that pressure no more. Moments here to be had. I've already said it. This is a championship team. The core of this team has already won a Super Bowl. The core of this team has already been in the biggest moments of all moments and had the pressure of not messing it up for Brady. Trust me, they're ready. Trust me, when it needs to be done, they'll make it happen. You need to be ready for this moment. You are the number one reason why you can get to the Super Bowl with this team. You're also the number one reason why we won't get there if it doesn't happen. And that's just the game. You're the quarterback, bro. That's just the game. There's nothing else that needs to be said. I'm going to read these comments. Anybody that wants to jump in, I believe, let me see. I'm going to pin this to the top. Why can't I pin this? I don't know. I can't pin it, but I'll post it again just in case anybody on YouTube wants to jump in here. Let me read these comments and we're gonna get it going. Cali Bucks in the building. He says, I have a good feeling against the Lions. I do too. I do too. Should beat the Lions. Professor X in the building. What up, Skull Gang and RTP? It's your boy, your favorite troll is in the building. J. Dot in the building. Says CJ is a known trash talker. He does that to everybody, and more or less Baker he was talking to, and more so Godwin. Remember, that's the one who cracked his knee. Yes, Bucks raise bolts. There was something I wanted to say about that. I don't remember what it was that he said that made me think this, but I remember when I read what he said, I said, oh, they're trying to bait Baker. They're trying to bait Baker. They want Baker to, they're going to try, I think they're going to try to do the same thing that the Eagles did, which is they're going to just cover Mike and Chris and hope that Baker tries to impress by forcing it to Mike or Chris because he knows he can get his yards like that. The big play is to Mike or to Chris because the plays designs are usually to Mike and Chris. So if the play is designed for them, that means that's usually where the big play is going to happen. So if by saying that Baker ain't doing nothing, that's trying to make him get his stats up, how is the easiest way to get your stats up? Taking the big play, easiest way to take the big plays, force it to Mike and Chris. They're trying to bait him to do that. That's how I feel about it. They're trying to bait him to do that, and I believe that that's what they're trying to do. So if they try to do that, hopefully Bake does exactly what he did in the Eagles game. And if Bake does exactly what he did in the Eagles game, oh, man. Oh, I don't even want to talk about it yet. Just like Baker Spark. Rashad West in the building. Did y'all rewatch the first Lions game? You know what? I haven't. And if I have time, I think I will. Rock 813 in the building. Lions fans need to see that commercial. I'm gonna be honest. Today is one of them days where I'm glad I'm just a small nobody YouTube channel, because I wouldn't want that. This whole conspiracy thing that I talked about, obviously I feel like if it got out there, like if it really, really got out there and it was the conspiracy was true, they'd be like, oh, we got to change it now. You know what I'm saying? So this is one of those times where I'm actually glad I'm a small little nobody YouTube channel. Professor X says, been a Bucks fan for over 30 plus years, and this is the first time I can actually say we are in our fourth straight in the playoffs and 3-time NFC South champs 100. Let's go, Bucks for life. We ain't done yet, baby. That's my whole thing, man, is this is supposed to be a throwaway season. I've said it so many times on this channel. It's supposed to be a throwaway season, and we're one game away from the NFC Championship. And I truly believe we should beat this team. That's the part that I'm like, man, like I'm gonna be 1,000 with you guys. I didn't think we were gonna beat the Eagles. And again, solely on Baker. The team, I know what we are as a team. I know what this team is already. We're championship caliber team. I've said it all year. I just haven't had any faith in Baker. And it's not that I don't think Baker can do it. It's that I don't know what Baker we're getting. It's too up and down, too up and down. So it wasn't that I didn't think Baker could beat the Eagles. I know Baker could beat the Eagles. I know Baker can beat the Lions. I know he can. I know for a fact he can. I know for a fact Baker can beat the Packers. I know for a fact Baker can beat the Niners. Now, can Todd Bowles beat the Niners? That's a whole nother question. But I know Baker can beat these teams. With these weapons, I know Baker can do it. But do we get that Baker that's going to do it? That's what I wasn't confident in the Eagles game. And after we beat the Eagles, I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, Baker's doing. He actually used Cade Otton the whole, like, he sat there and said, all right, I'm going to eat you alive with Cade Otton. Shout out to Cade Otton, the most receptions in the playoff game for the Buccaneers. Gronk was at 6. I think Cade Otton was at 8 receptions. So shout out to him. That's a record, I believe. But that was like, you know what? That's a moment. That's a moment. So that's what this whole live stream was about. I wanted people to understand exactly where I'm at. Big Al says, yo, Big Al in the building. First of all, Big Al says, yo, what's up, RTP, Pewter and Red, till we're cold and dead. Skull Gang. Skull Gang! You already know what time it is. You should go live and replay that round table. Oh no, I got I think it's like 20 minutes. Hold on. And I'll play you a snippet. I'll play you a snippet. And the only reason why I'm going to play it real quick is so you guys can tell me if it's loud enough that you can hear the talking, because I wasn't sure. And if it's not loud enough, I ain't going to lie, I'm going to be a little upset. Because I don't feel like editing and doing all this stuff over again. It was updated. My defense. But where are we? Where are we now? The defense is not better than the Atlanta Saints. So we don't talk about the defense. No, it's not. No, it's not. Can you hear them? Josh hasn't called y'all ass up. Nobody want to hype about the defense. I will say this. If you want to argue it, I'm like, okay, you're arguing. Can y'all hear that? Let me know. Our defense is better than it does get louder towards the end.
Your belief don't have no impact on what the statistics show.
Yeah, it does. But this is what? It's a 20-minute clip of just different situations and different things that they were laughing at me and yelling and saying I was stupid and wrong about. 20 minutes worth of different things that now that I have the receipt, they look stupid. Because I'm going to play it and you're going to see, and like I said, it's not just like a one long thing. It's like little clip here, little clip there. You know, it's edited. So we don't have to go through, stuff that no need to listen to. But yeah, so it's a 20-minute clip. So that's a whole live stream that I'm going to do that on. But yeah, for sure. OG in the building. What up, RTP? Here we're live, man. Nug Detroit in the building. Says we have 8 guys that we didn't have when we faced y'all the first time. Don't matter. Trust me when I say it don't matter. And we are at home. Gonna be a good game, but I expect us to win. I do think it's gonna be a good game, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. Don't be surprised if you guys end up flat. And I said this in my last live stream. That playoff win last week was so emotional for you guys. Do not be surprised if you guys come out flat. I'm just saying. A lot of emotions in that first game. Big Al says, I believe we can make it to the Super Bowl if we continue to take it one game at a time and play our butts off, leaving it all on the field. Yes, of course. And again, I know probably most of these comments are going to be saying stuff like that, like, oh, why are we talking about the Super Bowl? And I get it, and you guys are right, but I wanted to do it this way. I wanted to frame it in this type of light. Please remember the Eagles were terrible and they checked out as a team. It doesn't matter. And again, you're going to say things that sound right, but don't really matter. It don't matter because I know my team. And I know that when my team is on, don't matter who you are. When my team is on, it don't matter who you are. My team is more talented. My team is more talented than the Detroit Lions. We are more experienced. We are more talented, and we're better than the Detroit Lions. Plain and simple. Better weapons, more experience. Had a championship before. Defense, more vicious defense, more talent on the defense, and more experience on the defense. We're more talented, more experienced. That's weapons and coaching staff. Rashad Nash in the building, and I don't say that. And it sounds arrogant, it sounds cocky, it sounds like I'm taking shots at Detroit, because I'm kind of hyped now. My juices are going after this long, live stream. But it's the truth. It's if I could say it any nicer, I would. But that is the truth. And there's nothing to be ashamed about. There's nothing to be ashamed about. When you beat us, right? When you beat us the first time, you guys offensively was further down the road in that offense than we were. You guys clicked way better offensively than we were. We still didn't even know how to use that offense yet. We still wasn't even comfortable in that offense yet. You guys had already a year of offense, a year of that offense, right? So you guys are clicking way better. If you can understand that, it's the same thing as that, but everything else. Defense, weapons, coaching staff, we're like a couple years ahead of you. And we already won a championship. So it's the same thing as saying that you guys are better than us offensively the first time we met, because you guys already had a year in that offense. You guys got it down. You guys get it. Same thing for us, but experience in the playoffs with everything else and everything else. So, yeah. Rashad Nash in the building says we are better than the Lions all around. Plain and simple. Cruz in the building. Golf under pressure is garbage. Hope Bucks blitz all game. Just send Devin the whole time. We'll see what we do, man. We'll see what we come out. What kind of game plan? Rashad says Golf will throw 3 interceptions. I definitely think we're going to get some turnovers. We didn't get no turnovers. Did we get a turnover? I don't think we got a turnover in the Eagles game. We need a turnover. Clickety clack. White is back in the building. Says we need Big Bake to keep the car in the on the road. What it do, peeps? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Facts, and stop holding ball too long. CPG in the building. Lions are a super tough team. Very. Agreed. Very super tough team. Very super tough team. So are we. So are we. And Lions got a lot of heart. They're very tough. They can be very mean, but that's where championship experience comes from. You know what I'm saying? That's where our championship experience makes a difference. Is we've been through these teams. We played against Mahomes and the Chiefs. We played through Drew Brees. The Lions cannot present nothing to us that we haven't gone through already. Period. Nothing that we haven't gone through already. We have the experience already. We know how the lights look. We know how that pressure feels. Lions don't. They don't know. They don't know how that pressure feels. They don't know how it feels when that momentum changes in the playoffs. They don't know. They don't know how it feels when you punch somebody in the face and they don't move. They don't. They don't. And they're more talented than you. Because again, Rams got that championship too, but they don't got no talent. That's purely just coaching. Not as much talent as us, I should say. Clackety White says, no interceptions, just hit those check downs on time. NY Phenom in the building. The atmosphere was rocking at Ray J Monday. Yes, it was. Clickety Clack says, yeah, CPG, they got us week 6. Big Bake and the offense was a real letdown. Confidence of team is different now. We're here now and can't leave no regrets. And I don't think I needed to really talk about that part, right? That, we're not the same team, like at all, close at all. Like the guy that said I think he said we had 6 or 8 different players that We're a bigger, different team than they are. Yeah, I'll give y'all and Baker credit if you can beat Detroit. Of course, P Nash in the building. RTP, what it do? Chilling. If we beat Detroit, I mean, no one has no choice but to give us credit. Davis in the building. Visualize the Buccaneers playing their Super Bowl here in Las Vegas. RTP, can you actually see it, brother? To the point where I actually thought, how much money do I have in my savings account? Not gonna lie, Davis. I visualized it to the point where I said to myself, how much money do I have in my savings account? And let's just say I have enough if it comes down to it. I mean, I don't exactly know how much a Super Bowl ticket's gonna be, but if I gotta be in the nosebleeds, let's just say I have enough to where, I mean, I have more than enough for that, but what I'm willing to spend, let's just say that what I'm willing to spend is enough to buy 2 tickets to this Detroit game. And I don't know if you guys know how much a ticket costs to play to go to the Detroit versus Tampa game, but I'm willing to spend enough money to get 2 tickets for one of those games. If that's how much one ticket costs for a Super Bowl over here. So let's say pretty much, unless those tickets are really crazy, I'm going to that Super Bowl game if it happens. Big Al says, I don't know if you remember the guy that messed up Godwin's knee when he played with the Saints. He played for the Lions now. Anyway, he said the Bucs is a top tier team. They just need a QB. Yes, we talked about that. David says, we want all the smoke. Detroit, let them know. Let them know. We want all the smoke. We want all the smoke, Detroit. We want all the smoke. We were injured, LOL. Chill with all this talk, bro. We came to your house, dominated you for 4 quarters. It wasn't hard to do at that time. Was not hard to do at that time. We were missing 8 starters. That's I mean, hey, that's NFL. Chill, bro. Be humble. Oh, you came to the wrong. Listen, Lions, this is y'all feeling yourselves right now. Don't forget who we won a Super Bowl, bro. This is what you're not understanding. This team has won a Super Bowl. This is the problem with fans when I try to explain about the Buccaneers. Oh, it was Brady. No. This team has won a Super Bowl before. You think, oh, that's not the Super Bowl team because it's not Brady. You need to be humble. There's 2 things. One, if your story ends Sunday, it would be a great story. And if Baker continues to win in the playoffs, it'll be an even greater story. The Detroit Lions winning this weekend and then losing to San Francisco makes no difference between losing from San Francisco or losing this weekend. Your story is already written. Your fairy tale is already done. It's done. You got your fairy tale story already. You won a playoff game. That is your fairy tale story. It stopped. There is no reason for you to win anymore. All your emotion, your coach, your GM, your players, your quarterback, all the emotion of winning that game was left on the field. Mark my words. It was left on that field. You're not going to have that same emotion going against the game against us. You're playing against a team that has won a Super Bowl, not getting credit for winning a Super Bowl, and has a guy that's pissed off at the quarterback position. They got treated like crap after he took a franchise that was like the Lions. Think about that. We got Jared Goff. We got Cleveland Browns Jared Goff. Think about that. How you guys feel about Jared Goff how the Rams threw him away and gave him to you guys and he had that chip on his shoulder? We got the Cleveland Browns Jared Goff. So your fairy tale, the power that you were getting from that fairy tale storyline, there's no more power there. That energy is done. It's done. That energy is done. Now you have to go against somebody who's already won a Super Bowl, a team that has already won a Super Bowl, has a chip on their shoulders because they didn't get credit for that Super Bowl, and has a quarterback that is willing to run down your throat to make a point. Trust me, this ain't going to be the game you think it's going to be. Telling us to be humble is not the move. When someone tells me to be humble, I feel like you're looking down on us. And you're not supposed to be looking down on us. You're supposed to be looking up at us because that's the truth. Let me hold on. It's been a while. It's been a while. Don't tell us to be humble. Give me a close up. Don't tell us to be humble. We don't need to be humbled. We're good. We're okay. Do not tell us to be humble. We got, which one is it? Is this one? They're saying, how about this? Imagine if your team won the division and they said it didn't count. That's what this is. We won this. We won this right here. And they said it didn't count. It didn't matter. It's not the same team. Okay. Okay. Oh, and we're healthy. And we're healthy. I believe you guys didn't play against Kalijah Kancey either. And Yaya Diaby wasn't even starting yet. And we still had Ryan Neal starting at safety. Don't tell us to be humble, bro. What you need to be saying to us is, hey, may the best man win. I hope we can step up to the plate, big brother. Or big cuz. That's what you should be saying. Hopefully we can step up to the plate, big cuz. Can you play in this light? Do you know if your team can play in this light? The lights just get brighter. Y'all think football is easy. The lights just get brighter. They just get brighter and brighter. The momentum shifts get faster and faster, bigger and bigger. Is your team ready for it? We have a team that's done it. That's what I think you guys don't understand, but you'll learn. We're missing Jonah Jackson, Brian Branch, James Houston, Gardner Johnson, Gibbs, and Montgomery. Montgomery doesn't matter. Johnson doesn't matter. None of it matters. None of it matters. Listen, again, I don't know how else I can say this. We faced better teams than the Lions. We have faced better teams than the Lions with better talent. You're not bringing anything to us that makes us go, man, are you a rowdy team? Yeah, you're a rowdy team. Those are like, it's like we look at you and go, that's cute. You know what I'm saying? Like we look at you and go, that's cute. Like the team that you have, we had a team like that with Raheem Morris. You know what I'm saying? Like the team that you have, like you guys are making it seem like this is destiny. Like this is the team to do it. It's not. It's your stepping stone. That's what it is. It's your stepping stone. Like in 2 years, you might look at the team that you have right now and be like, we thought we were grown up there, but we're not. Now we're grown up, and you might still be wrong, but you get what I'm saying? Like that's what's probably going to happen. Like that's what I don't think you understand. You think it's the other way around. You think because everybody told you that we should be in the runnings for Caleb Williams, that we're on some magical fairy tale storyline. Oh my God, they're so lucky to be here situation. And I'm trying to give you the warning. That's not the case. This is you're dumb because not you. I'm not talking you're dumb. I'm saying the people that were saying that we were going to be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. You're dumb because this is the same Super Bowl team core that's ready to go and make another run at it. We're just taking this flyer on a quarterback while we're getting rid of these bad contracts. And now you let us in the dance while our offense is clicking and we found a run game and we're healthy and our young people grew up. You're in trouble. If Baker does his thing, you're in trouble. You're going home. If Baker does his thing, you're going home. It's that simple. And that's what this whole live stream was about. If Baker does his thing, a lot of teams in the NFC South, in the NFC conference is going home, and their name's not going to be the Bucks. That's what this main thing is about. Gennady Moreno in the building says divisional round picks. Divisional round picks. I don't get what you're asking there. P Nash says Lion fans, y'all not that team. They're a good team though. But you know what I'm saying? I don't want them to think that we think they trash or you're a good team. You're a rowdy team. You're, bite ankles or kneecaps or whatever it is. You guys, you're a good team. Don't get me wrong. But you don't have the experience. You don't know what the bright lights are like yet. Like you know what I'm saying? You haven't went through the fire. Like you gotta go. You burned your hand with the Rams, but you gotta go through the fire. Like your whole body, you gotta go through the fire. Like you haven't did that yet. You don't know that experience. And the whole thing is why I said that last playoff game, that was your Super Bowl. That's what I don't think fans are gonna be ready for. That was their winning that playoff game was everything. I don't think they're going to understand how draining that's going to be, but we'll see. Davis says championships. Yes, sir. Chill, bro. Don't act like y'all about to come to Detroit and run through this team. I'm okay. I can't say that I know for sure we are, but again, if Baker does his thing, it's going to seem like we ran through the team. I'm saying it right now. If Baker does his thing, I might have something to stand on where it says, well, we kind of did run through your team, bro. It's going to feel like that. I promise you, it's going to feel like that. I'm marking them, bro. All right. Clackety White says, I was at that GM. It really wasn't as bad as the score showed and interception. Oh, you was at that game? A interception and I don't know what you're saying. Big Al says, what do you think about these other games, meaning who you got moving on the next round? Good question. Best offensive line in football, best running back duel in football, all pro receiver, rookie of the year candidate, tight end. Rookie tight end he's legit. I like him. Listen, Buck fans haven't been scared of the run game since we had Todd Bowles, since Bruce Arians came in the building. Like anytime anybody says anything about running backs, I don't care if it's a 2,000-yard rusher or whatever, Buck fans have never cared. We don't care about running backs. The run game hasn't scared us in years. We've been top 5 running, stopping the run for I don't know how long. We might not be top 5 this year. I didn't check because we got some youngsters that it took a while to understand how to stop the run and stuff like that. But we're back to normal. So we're not worried about no run game. An all-pro wide receiver, we don't care. We don't care, bro. We don't care about an all-pro wide receiver. I'm not scared. There is no weapons. I wasn't scared of Davante Adams. I wasn't scared of Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers. I wasn't scared of Drew Brees and Kamara. I wasn't scared of their O-line. I wasn't scared of their D-line. I wasn't scared of none of that, bro. You have nothing. Listen, I was more scared of the Eagles roster than I'm scared of the Lions roster. The Lions do not scare me. And again, I don't mean it to be mean or I don't mean it to like sound cocky. I am just telling you, this is not like a regular team, bro. Like the matchups, we don't have bad matchups. We have bad matchups against schemes, not against players. Players do not fear us. Players do not scare us. Schemes can scare us. Kyle Shanahan's scheme scares us. The Rams scheme scares us. Players don't scare us. We don't care how good your player is. We'll stop them. It don't matter. If we don't stop them, we stopped everything else that didn't let you win the game. We play, and that's the God off. That's the truth. There is no player in the NFL that scares us. Patrick Mahomes doesn't scare us. There is no player in the NFL that scares us. Schemes scare us. That's what we get worried about. The scheme, not the players. There is not one player in the NFL that scares me. Tony in the building. And that's facts. Those are the facts. Nug said, not at all, bro. I'm telling you, just chill with all the it's not. Listen, I just showed you a clip of 20 minutes of people saying that I didn't know what I was talking about, that I was talking nonsense. And I was just dead right on everything. Trust me, it's not nonsense. Clack White says few bad plays derail us at the game. Pirates, let's go. Okay, bro, we will see Sunday. Yes, we will. P Nash says Bucks been here before all day, every day. We did play against Kansas. Did you? Buccaneers defeated the Lions once. You might have played against Kansas. You might be right, but it still wasn't the same Kansas that is now. Buccaneers. Matter of fact, that might have been his first game. Buccaneers defeated the Lions once in 1997. Playoffs. Facts. That must have been when we were in the same division. And we already did. We dominated you, bro. We are healthier and home. You can call what you want to call, and that's just an experience. I don't know how old you are, but you're sounding young right now, saying that you dominated us in the regular season game, and I told you that our quarterback didn't understand the system yet. Our whole offense didn't understand the system yet. Our coordinator didn't know how to coordinate yet. Our coordinator didn't even know how to use the weapons yet. Like the offense is completely different. Defense grew up. And that was like in the beginning of that was like the first quarter of the season, bro. Like you got to be young to think that the first game means anything. You got to be young. It was Kansas' first game back from injury. Facts. That's what it was. The Lions ain't that good. G. They're not trash. They fight. They fight very hard, and they got talent. And they got talent. Golf is not trash. He's not trash. He dotted us up the last time we played him. He did his job. But they don't have our level of talent. They don't have the same level of talent we have. They don't have the same amount of talent that we have. They don't have the same amount of talent we have, and the talent that they have is not on the level of our talent. And our coaching staff is more experienced, and their team is not experienced. It's a lot of bad. It's a lot of bad. Again, like I said, not to say that there's no doubt in my mind we could win this game, because Baker could play bad, and even if he does play good, maybe one play messes up the game for us or something. I don't know, but I'm a lot more excited about this game than I was about the Eagles game. I feel more confident in this game than like if we played the Packers. If we played the Packers again, I'd feel confident in that game. The only game I wouldn't have felt confident in was the Eagles game and the Niners game. I feel confident in this game. Like this, it's not a good game for the Lions. That regular season win against us doesn't matter. The playoffs is much different, way different. Even if it was the regular season, that was so early in the season that even if this was like a second game in the regular season, it wouldn't make a difference. We're a completely different team. Like, and not only that, but it's the playoffs. It's even more different. I didn't say that at all. I said, be humble. You're saying you're better than us in all phases. And I said, chill, but we are. So you want me to say we're not? who you think have a chance of winning against the two top teams this round out of the Green Bay versus Niners or the Texans versus Ravens. I like the Texans having a slight chance make it to the next round. I think everybody has a chance. Everybody has a chance to win. Everybody has a chance to lose. Plain and simple. I don't think there's no like the Ravens feel like, they're going to win that game. Texans don't have a chance, but I think Texans do have a chance. I think it's a small chance, but I think they do have a chance. Um, Obviously 50-50 with the Bills and the Chiefs. Actually, no. I'll say 65. 65% Bills win against the Chiefs. I think about 70% chance Niners beat the Packers. I think 75 7 I think 70% chance Ravens beat Texans, and I think I'll say 65% chance that Bucks beat the Lions. That's how I would. I like doing percentage because it gives you more of a feel of I'm confident that we'll win, but it's not like there's no way we lose this game. So you get to gauge my confidence by when I do put a percentage on it. Okay, we will see Sunday, bro. Who's going to the NFC Championship? G. I just broke down the percentage. Mark my words, NFC Championship game, Tampa versus San Francisco. Can I be honest with you, Davis? There's no doubt in my mind San Francisco is the better team. But there's something, it could mean nothing, but there's a little something somewhere deep in here that thinks that there might be a chance that this guy, Jordan Love, pulls it off. I don't know why. You know what I think it is? I think that if this conspiracy situation is real, or if they want this Baker Mayfield storyline to be real, they're going to have to find a way to get Jordan Love that win. That's what it is. So there's a small part of me that's like, I don't know. I would be like, oh my God, it happened, but it wouldn't be, I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like there's a chance that Jordan Love pulls it off. I don't know. CPG. So now I believe that leaves Atlanta as the only team in the NFC South to not win the division 3 years in a row, huh? Yep, I guess. Big Al says, I think that was Kansas first game. It was the throwback game. Oh, you're right. You just brought back all the memory. Yeah, that's the game that Baker Mayfield had a wide open touchdown with Mike Evans, and the ball got batted up in the air, and they got the ball right there at the 5-yard line. Man, so many things went wrong in that game. Talking about they dominated. The Bucks got the blueprint to beat the Lions. The Bucks are just better. What was the score last time we faced them? I don't remember. Big Al 20-6 on Creamsicle Day. Yeah, I remember they only scored 20 points because I was like, yeah, they usually score like in the 30s. And I was like, our defense did their job because they only scored like 10 points less than they usually score, which was 20 points. Golf and Baker are capable of a bad game. Yep, I respect that. Facing the Packers in our backyard would be interesting. Yeah, would be interesting. But yeah, again, I put the link to jump in here in the comment section. Nobody jumped in. We're going in on 2 hours and 2 minutes. So we caught up to all of the comments in the comment section. If you're watching this and it's not live, first of all, if you're watching this and you haven't hit the like button, do me a favor, hit that like button, man. Show some love. Baker also threw 2 TDs to Palmer. Overthrew. Yes, facts. So yeah, it was a bad game for Baker. It was a bad game for our OC as well. One thing, weather will be no factor. Yes, sir. So yeah, we if you're watching this and it's not live, come comment in the comment section. Let me know about some of the things you've been thinking about, or disagreeing or agreeing with me, or whatever. Any of your comments. Also hit the like button. And if you're new and you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, because if you don't know, this is you're not going to get more information from the Bucks than you are in this channel, because this channel be breaking everything down, man. So yeah, it's your man RTP, Skull Gang in the building. You know what time it is. And just remember, folks, just remember, it's pewter and red till we cold and dead. I see you guys next time I see you guys. Deuce, we out.